Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Today, let's take a quick look at everything that's new in macOS Big Sur. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 750 supporters. Go to macmost.com/Patreon. There you can read more about the Patreon campaign, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. So let's dive right in. First, let's take a look at app icons. You can see them here in the dock or in Launchpad. All the Apple apps now are these rounded rectangles with a whole new design. Notice how the dock now floats above the bottom of the screen and has these rounded corners as well. Now if we take a look at toolbars like here in the Finder, we can see there's been a big change. Title bars and toolbars are now merged. So you can see here the title of this window merged in with the buttons. Plus if you look at the symbols here in the toolbars and the symbols in the sidebars as well, you can see they're more consistent now across different apps using a very specific Apple icon language that they've created. And look here at the sidebars. You'll find a lot of sidebars now stretch all the way up to the top of the window, including often the red, yellow, and green buttons. macOS Big Sur introduces the new Control Center here, which brings up a variety of controls in one icon here in the menu bar, and you can customize this in System Preferences. The Notification Center is now new as well. It's now just one big list instead of a Notification Center and a Today view. The notifications are at the top and the widgets are at the bottom. Notifications are enhanced. Notice how they're grouped now. So I've got two messages notifications and they're grouped together. You also have more controls for these. Notice for instance how you have an options button here for this reminder and I can select an action. For the widgets there's a new widgets editor here. You can search, you can look by category, you can look at all these different widgets, and there are different sizes for the widgets as well. So for instance here for the weather widget we can choose a small, medium, or large one. Drag it over here. And the weather widget's also improved. It would show hourly precipitation if it was raining and also give you weather alerts. And yes, third-party apps will have the ability to add widgets. So you see this list of potential widgets grow as app developers add widget functionality to the apps that you have. Spotlight Search has some improvements. It's faster, but also it's more streamlined. So when you search for something you'll see that you don't get the previews over here on the right. However, anything that has an arrow next to it can have a preview. All you need to do is arrow down to it and then hit return and then you'll get the quick look window here on the right. There's more international support in Big Sur. For instance in the dictionary app there are some more bilingual dictionaries that have been added. Also, in general, there's support for better predictive text for Chinese and Japanese language users as well as Indian fonts. The podcast app has been updated with a special Listen Now page that will show you what you've been listening to and suggestions for what to listen to next. There's also a Listen Now section in the Music app for Apple Music users. In System Preferences under Sound there are two big changes. One is you can decide whether or not you want the Mac startup sound. You also have a full new collection of alert sounds replacing the previous ones. The Messages app has a ton of new features. You've got the ability to send Memoji stickers and also create new Memoji right here on your Mac. Group chats can now be assigned an image. So you can control click here for instance, go to Details, and you can change the group name and photo. You can also reply to somebody in a group chat directly. You can also mention people in a group chat by just typing their name. You can see how it changed color there. And there's a new photo picker as well. The App Store is going to give you more privacy information about Mac apps, although that doesn't seem to be turned on yet. But we do now have a specific category in the App Store for Safari extensions, which will make those easier to find. Also there are enhancements to Apple Arcade. You now get recommendations for games based on what your friends are playing. You'll be able to see your progress in games thanks to Game Center and also compare that to your friends. And you'll also have the ability for some apps that when you have a subscription in the app you'll be able to share that with your family through family sharing. And the Notes app scans from your iPhone are supposed to be better. You also have a new control up here. You can select text and use this quick format button to access all sorts of formatting controls. In the Reminders app when you have a shared list now you could assign individual items to a specific person. You could also customize a list here not just with one of the many icons that are provided but also using any emoji. And you have more options to organize these smart lists that are here at the top, dragging them around and hiding them. There are a bunch of new things in the Photos app. You now under Color have the ability to adjust vibrance. The retouch tool has been improved. Zooming in and out of a big library has been optimized to be smoother. And the memories feature has more options like more music and settings and things like that. A big new change is that all of the editing tools are now available for videos. And you can see now I've got the adjustment tools with all of the different adjustments here. I could also go and use filters and crop and rotate and do that for videos as well as images. The Maps app has a ton of new features too. You now have Look Around, which allows you to drop down to Street View for a virtual look and move through a city. You also have Look Inside, which allows you to go inside indoor areas like shopping malls and airports and things like that. You have cycling directions. You've got routing for electric vehicles. You've got guided tours as well. Now the biggest thing I haven't mentioned yet is the new default background, and there are other backgrounds as well. If you go into System Preferences, into Desktop and Screensaver, and then Desktop, there are a variety of new backgrounds including an actual photo of Big Sur and a whole bunch of beautiful illustrations that you could use as dynamic desktops as well. Another change is how open and save dialogues look. Look at what happens when I go to save this text edit document with Command S. It dims everything around behind it. Printing as well does the same thing. Notice how it dims everything around. Now Safari isn't technically new because Apple also released this version of Safari for Catalina and Mojave. You've got the new Start page here. You've got the new way tabs work, especially when you have a lot of them. It just goes down to the icons. When you're not on that page but you move your cursor over it, you'll see how it gives you a little preview of the tab. Safari will also translate pages for you. You'll see this little icon appear here and you can click it to get a translation. There's also of course the privacy report, and it supports a lot of extra video stuff like 4K viewing on sites like Netflix, and it looks like on YouTube as well. In System Preferences and Accessibility, under Display there's a new setting for menu bar size. Also down in Voice Control there's a setting for Overlay and for showing hints. Also in System Preferences under Battery, if you're using a MacBook, you're going to get a new usage history here with a graph showing your power usage and charging history. Going back into System Preferences General, there's accent color. There's a new option there to choose a multicolored choice there. And what happens then is each app gets to choose its own color. You see yellow there for notes and blue for contacts. But then I could set it to be a specific color for all apps or allow it to be multicolor so each app gets to choose. You could also set the highlight color to either match that accent color or be its own thing. I know some people will love this change to Mail. If you now go to View and use Column Layout, the columns are like normal columns now. You can adjust the widths of the columns and you can control click on them to add or remove columns and also click on them to change the sort order. And there's even stuff that's not easy to show. For instance, the Home app has some new features like the ability to use adaptive lighting and to use face recognition for cameras that support it. Time Machine will finally allow you to back up to hard drives formatted to the modern APFS format. This will make your Time Machine backups faster and more efficient as well. The system is even more protected than it is in Catalina. It's going to be cryptographically signed. So any changes that some sort of malware tries to make to your system will be discovered. And there's going to be faster software updates starting with Big Sur. The update can begin before you actually have to restart your machine. So you'll spend less time waiting for the update to install. Of course, the biggest feature by far of macOS Big Sur, it's the fact that it's an operating system that works both on Intel processors and Apple's new ARM chips that'll be in the new Macs moving forward. And in that new hardware it will allow you to run iOS apps. So many of your favorite iOS apps from the iPhone or iPad will suddenly become available to you on your Mac. So that's virtually all of the new features in macOS Big Sur. I'll be looking more in depth at a lot of these in videos over the next days and weeks. I publish new tutorials every weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Then hit the little bell icon to get notifications for each new tutorial.